This is required for all sales and leases in California. To form so hot off the presses, it'll burn your fingers. Hey there, Christian Walsh, Coldwell Banker Wire Associates. We specialize in helping landlords and tenants, buyers and sellers like you in the state of California and beyond. And we are here with a big update on a brand new form that literally just came out. It will be required on all transactions going forward in the state of California. And this is leases and sales that involve a realtor. Hey, leave out the realtor jokes. It's way too easy of a target. We're going to go through the new form, the Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory. We're going to show you exactly what's in there and make sure you stick around to the end because we're going to explain exactly what it costs if you violate fair housing. It is not cheap. Here we are to go through the Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory. So as forms go, I'm going to have to say that this actually is a pretty darn good form. I know we didn't need any more. Already our leases have tons of pages and our sales contracts are stacks like this thick. But this form has a lot in it. It covers a lot of ground in 2 pages. First off, it mentions the different fair housing laws that there are. So there's federal and state fair housing laws that cover just about every residential property possible. So you have the Federal Fair Housing Act, the FHA. Another big one is the California Fair Employment and Housing Act. Then you have California UNRU and other acts that have added on that have expanded the protected classes. So, and here, potential legal remedies for unlawful discrimination. Remember, at the end of the video, we're going to go ahead and share what the Fair Housing Act violation costs will be to you. So stick around for that. But really what it boils down to is under number 4 here, the different protected classes. So these are who the laws set out to protect. And some of these almost seem silly these days that we have to remind people. But honestly, fair housing discrimination still exists. Some of it's completely overt, and some of it is accidental. And we'll show you some examples. They give some examples down here of what would be an accidental or inadvertent violation of fair housing. But remember, these are all the protected classes: race, color, ancestry, national origin. You can see them all here: sex, sexual orientation, religion, disability, source of income. This is actually a new law in California. Previously, landlords could say, no, we don't accept Section 8 vouchers. Now in California, you cannot discriminate based on the source of income. So landlords must accept Section 8 vouchers. Familial status, and this is one that drives me crazy. I've come across this where landlords are discriminating against families of certain sizes. Maybe they have 4 kids like I do, and they say that's too many people. Well, you know what? There are specific regulations related to how many people can live in a unit, but if you have a 4-bedroom house, you can definitely fit a 6-person family in there. Just throwing that out there. So you can either see citizenship, marital status. You can't only lease or sell to married people. That's discrimination. Age is another big one. Criminal history is one that a lot of landlords don't realize. You can't discriminate against somebody necessarily for their criminal history. If it's a nonviolent crime in particular, you're not on legal ground for discriminating. So run these by a good attorney. As a realtor, we are required to abide by fair housing laws and help make sure that our clients abide by those laws. And I'm very proud of that, and it's something that I work hard to do, to make sure I never do it and to make sure my clients don't. I want to work with people who don't violate fair housing laws, quite frankly. If you want to try to violate fair housing, and I've had people say some pretty awful things about other groups, I'm not going to work with you, so whatever that's worth. You probably don't care, but I'm not. So this is an example of people who have to comply with fair housing laws: sellers, real estate licensees, landlords, HOAs, that's a big one, insurance companies. So this is, you can see this form packs a lot of stuff into a small couple of pages. And there's conduct that may not be motivated by discriminatory intent. So number 8, this is what I meant by inadvertent discrimination. So some content, you may not willfully be trying to discriminate, but you actually could be. And there's a prime example right here: refusing to rent an upper level unit to an elderly tenant out of concern over that tenant being able to use stairs. That's discrimination. You as a landlord can't, or as a seller can't say, hey, not going to let you have my real estate. Then there's other improper conduct. And these are big, channeling, steering, thinking that a prospective buyer, prospective renter should live in a certain place. We don't make those decisions. The buyers and renters make those decisions. So I highly encourage everybody, quite frankly, to read this form and go through this. And this is just a 30,000 foot level. There's a lot more you need to know as landlords, realtors, and sellers. And then another one is resources for fair housing. These are different websites that you can visit to get more information and see specific examples of proper and improper behavior. There are limited exceptions to when you can violate fair housing, but like it says, run it by an attorney, and I encourage you not to do it. And you can never, ever discriminate on the basis of race, even in these limited exceptions. So this form is required now in all sales and leases. If you're using the services of a realtor, all the parties will have to go ahead and sign the form. Thanks for going on a quick tour of this form. I highly encourage you to download a sample copy and read it. And remember that our newsletter subscribers, so sign up for our newsletter below. We are going to send you a copy of this form so you can take a look at a sample. So what'd you think? It covers a lot of ground in 2 pages. Thank you for sticking around to the end. This is where we go through exactly what a fair housing violation is going to cost you. We have a link below so you can read this. The numbers are updated annually as well. So these are the latest 2020 numbers for violations. And bear in mind that it does not include any costs that may be levied and attorney's fees that may be levied. This is just a penalty. So your first violation will cost you $21,410. So don't do it the first time. But hey, if you decide to and you want to go ahead and do it again, $53,524. And yes, there are people who strike out and do it 3 times or more. That's going to cost $107,050. So those are the penalties. My advice is don't do it. Even if you were penalized, don't do it. But there's even more motivation to make sure you don't. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this useful. Remember, if you subscribe to our email newsletter below, we're going to send you a sample of this form so you can run through it on your own. Covers a lot of ground. There's good stuff in there. And make sure you subscribe to our channel where we continue to keep the content coming for landlords and tenants and buyers and sellers. This has been Christian Walsh, Coldwell Banker Wire Associates, and I appreciate you.